In the beginning, we're taught to be good, to be kind, helpful, and gentle. We're told not to hurt others, to always think of others before ourselves. And slowly, we start living like that. We begin to understand what others need, take care of their moods, stay quiet when someone else is upset, just so no one feels alone or hurt. We keep smiling, even when everything inside us feels broken. And when we keep doing this for years, people begin to believe we don't get tired, that we don't get sad, that we don't feel lonely. But the truth is, that's where our exhaustion begins. You sit beside a friend when they break down, you wipe their tears, talk them through the night. But when your own heart is heavy, that same friend is either too busy or says, "But you're the strong one. What could possibly be wrong with you?" That label of being mature, understanding, strong, slowly becomes a prison. A place where your own feelings are no longer allowed to exist. You keep absorbing so much, silently, that at one point, even you can't recognize what pain you've been carrying for so long. Relationships may change, but the pattern stays the same. Even in a relationship, you remain the one who always understands, who never demands too much, who makes themselves smaller so the other person can feel big. How many times have you buried your own happiness just to keep someone else comfortable? How many times have you lied to yourself saying, "It's okay, it's not a big deal, I understand," when your heart was screaming, "I can't do this anymore"? But you knew how to stay quiet. You knew how to bend, so you smiled again. Every time you forgive, a small piece inside you breaks. Every time you're unheard, but still hold on to the relationship, a new scratch appears on your soul. And these wounds, they don't show. You still look the same. Your voice doesn't change. You still use the same emojis in your texts. But inside, there's an empty space that grows a little bigger each day. And no one notices, because the pain of good people often remains invisible. Over time, you don't really change. You shrink. You stop getting too attached to words. You stop being so emotional. You start keeping a little distance in every relationship. Because you've learned that pouring your heart out every time, giving it your all, losing yourself for others, eventually ends up hollowing you from within. You don't reply quickly anymore. You don't pick up every call. You don't talk about your pain, because now you're tired. You've realized that giving too much, especially without being asked, always being the one who understands, has drained you completely. And then people say, "You're not like you used to be." But they don't know how many times you've tried to be, how many times you've forced a smile while something inside you was falling apart, how many times you've convinced yourself, "This relationship is worth saving. Maybe next time they'll understand me. Maybe someday someone will understand me the way I understand others." But every time that someday never comes, a little part of you dies. Slowly, you begin to notice how people take advantage of your goodness. They know you won't say no. They know you'll forgive them again. They know you'll take the first step again. And they keep leaving you alone again and again at the same point, with that same blind hope in your heart. Your kindness becomes a convenience for them. And that's the saddest part. Your goodness starts to look like a weakness in their eyes. In the middle of all this, you lose yourself. You stop having conversations with your own soul. You forget what you love, what brings you joy. The dreams that once sparkled in your heart now lie gathering dust. Because you were so busy clearing the path for others, you forgot where your own path even was. And then one day, when you're all alone, a question rises within you. If I was such a good person, why am I so alone? That's where real change begins. Maybe it's slow, maybe it hurts, but it's real. You begin to reconnect with yourself. You start listening to your silences. You dig out those old diaries. You remember the dreams you never even told anyone about. And then you slowly realize being good was never the problem, but losing yourself in the process, that's the deepest pain. Now, when you begin to stand up for yourself, when you finally say no with clarity, When you embrace yourself without waiting for someone else's reply, some people get shocked, some get angry, some say, "You've changed." But now, it doesn't matter, because you finally understand your peace should never depend on someone else's permission. Now, you're learning to stop pleasing others and start being honest with yourself. And that is what true goodness really is. When you finally give yourself the same compassion you've always given to everyone else.